Holy God, we give you thanks for this day, for you have given it to us as an opportunity to come together and worship and praise you. We give you thanks because we know that we can come to this place and unburden ourselves and lift our hearts in praise, and we can find fellowship with you and with one another. As we journey in this time together, speak to us through your holy word, speak to us through it read and proclaimed, speak to us in the words of wisdom from a friend, speak to us in our time of prayer, speak to us in the music that we sing. Let us hear something that will shape and change and transform our very lives and give us hope for tomorrow. All this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. You know, I'm convinced that God has a really interesting sense of humor because my sermon tape this week got healing, and yesterday about 5 or 6 o'clock I felt my sinuses start to close up, and I think it's that seasonal allergy stuff that seems to be hitting everybody. It's like, I felt like such a rat. It's like, okay, guys, this is not fair. You're going to make me feel, I'm going to feel miserable, and I'm supposed to talk about healing, but well, I guess that's just the way it's supposed to be. Because reality is, we never know when things are going to hit, when things are going to strike. You know, sometimes they're just minor annoyances, they're inconveniences. They're, you know, you get a stuffy nose and you just have to soldier on. You have, you know, a mysterious crack appear in your iPod. You don't know where it comes from. You're worried, what will mom or dad say when they see it? You have, you know, little things, just stuff that happens. And unfortunately, sometimes not so little things. You get a report from the doctor that you weren't expecting. You get a late night phone call and it's your son or daughter, and there's a problem. You get called to the boss's office and it's not good news. Sometimes big stuff happens as well. The reality is, though, that sometimes I don't think we're as open as we need to be. Sometimes I think even in the life of the church, we keep ourselves closed off from one another. There's a song, and I'm not going to sing it for you, but there is a song that was written by Casting Crowns a number of years ago called Stained Glass Masquerade. And I think it speaks to this issue of this problem that we have of maybe being a little bit too quiet. It says this. It says, is there anyone that fails, or am I the only one in church today feeling so small? Because when I look around, everybody seems so strong. I know that they will soon discover that I don't belong. So I tuck it all away like everything's okay. If I make them all believe, maybe I'll believe it too. So with a painted grin, I'll play the part again. And so everyone will see me the way I see them. And the chorus goes like it says, are we happy plastic people under shiny plastic steeples, with walls around our weakness and smiles that hide our pain? But the invitation's open to every heart that's been broken. Maybe then we can close the curtain on our stained glass masquerade. You know, I don't know about you, but there are times in my life where, you know, I paint the smile on my face, you know, I tighten my tie, I shine my shoes, and I go on about life. And nobody knows that inside I'm falling apart. And I'm willing to bet that I'm not alone. And maybe you're in one of those positions today where you're kind of sitting in the pew and you're looking around at all the people and you think, you know, well, you know, Sally's got it together. I mean, she always looks just perfect, you know, and Tom, you know, his life is just going great, and, you know, Bob and George and Regina and so on down the list. And you look at the people around you on Sunday morning and you think, everybody else in the world is doing better than you. And you're afraid that they might find out really how bad things are on inside because, you know, they might want to take their membership card back. They might not want to sit in the pew next to you. They might be afraid to talk to you because, you know, they don't want to hear about your pain and suffering because their life is okay. When in reality, pretty much probably most of us, at some time or another, maybe more often than we realize, are in those places of hurt and pain, and we keep them boxed up. We shelter others from them. We don't reveal them. Oh, we lift our occasional prayer concern. You know, these socially acceptable prayer concerns. You know, if mom's in the hospital, dad had a stroke. You know, my children are serving in a far-off country. You know, pray for travel mercies. Not that those aren't important. They're all important. But they're the stuff that, you know, we kind of normally share. There are others amongst us that have real deep hurts and pains. Some that they've been carrying for years. Some that they have struggled with all their life. Some that they realize there may never be any actual relief from. But yet they take the smile on their face and they go on, while inside they're hurting and breaking. Well, I want to suggest to you that James offers another way out of this, or through this. The psalm suggests that the invitation is always open to every heart that's ever been broken. And James, I think, kind of takes that idea and says, here's some things to think about when your heart's broken. Here's an invitation that you can hear. Now, he does say in this text, if you're happy and you know it, kind of thing. There we go. Clap your hands. See, somebody remembers that one. I'm not the only person. He does say if you're happy and things are going well, praise God. He says you should sing and dance and shout and let everybody know and celebrate those joys. When we had Bruce's funeral service, that was one of those mixed blessing times. It was sad to say goodbye to someone. It was sad to experience her death. Yet, there was also a time of celebration and joy because she had lived a long life. She had touched the lives of many. She was a woman of deep, abiding faith. And so we could rejoice at her passing as well. And we could celebrate even in the midst of that moment of sadness. Well, James also is a realist. He realized that things aren't always happy. Things aren't always joyous. And he uses a word that oftentimes is translated suffering in most translations. I like the way the Message translates it, because when I think of suffering, I usually think of like big things. I think of like the Holocaust. I think of, the Great Depression. I think of stuff that just affects masses of people, or the really difficult, the tornado that comes through, the hurricane, the big tragedies that hit people. It's hard for me sometimes to take the word suffering, and apply it to the things that are in my life. The kind of ordinary, everyday stuff, even though they may be tremendously big. That word just, for me, doesn't quite fit. I like the way the translation does it, and I think it's probably closer to what James was getting at, is this idea of hurting. He says, are you hurting? Everybody knows what being hurt is. For the first time you fall down and scrape your knee and got to run to mom for a Band-Aid. For the first time you get a splinter or a bee sting, or that first thing that happens in your life that causes a hurt or pain, you know something about hurting. But we have all kinds of hurts. We have the little hurts, we have the unexpected hurts, we have the big hurts. That covers a whole gamut of things that people deal with all the time. He says, are you hurting? He says, well, pray. He says the first thing that people of faith, and remember that's who he's talking to, he says people of faith need to pray. They need to go before God. They need to open their hearts. They need to just share what's going on with the one who created us, who loves us, who cares for us. He says, are you hurting? People of faith, he says, pray. Pray. And then he sort of pulls the idea of sickness out as a separate issue. He says, are you sick? And he kind of raises the ante. He says, well, call the church leaders together to pray and anoint them with oil in the name of the Master. Well, this idea of calling the leaders together, or going to the fellowship, of saying, here's my need, here's what's going on. I think that works not just when you're sick, but when you're hurting as well. This idea that we need to be willing to lay aside the stained glass masquerade and say, I have a need. I have a hurt. I have a pain. I have a place where I'm sick in my life. I have something that's troubling my spirit. I have something that's going on that I need God to intervene and be involved in. And that I need the community of faith to surround me with love, support, and help in my time of hurt, in my time of need, in my time of sickness. And I also like the way the Message says this. He says, believing prayer will heal you, and Jesus will put you on your feet, and you'll be healed inside and out. I like that idea of healed inside and out. Because it's not just talking about, our bumps and bruises. It's talking about the very real hurts and pains that are on the inside of each and every one of us. James says if you've got a hurt, if you've got a need, if you've got an issue, if you've got stuff that you're keeping closed off and hidden away and just putting a smile on your face, he says there's a place you can go with it. The fellowship, the community of faith, and allow them to surround you and enable you and help you to lift it to God. Unfortunately, we all know that sometimes we want to stay in our pews, put a smile on our face, and be quiet while we're breaking apart in silence. I want to take just a little bit of time this morning and offer you an opportunity to not do that. James says, James is very practical. He believes you got to put your faith into practice. And I want us to take an opportunity to put our faith into practice today. And just, Denise is going to play a little music. And just for anyone who would like to come, and we pray for an anointing today. Whatever your burden, whatever your issue, whatever is going on in your life, in a few moments, we'll ask you to come down. I know sometimes, we're Methodists, we do things orderly and by decorum, and sometimes it's hard for us. But, James says it's okay to unburden yourself, to allow God to hear and allow the community of faith to surround you. I know there's that old joke where the preacher's standing there preaching in the pulpit, and there's like 10,000 people down front, and one poor guy sitting in the top stadium. And it's like, just one more chorus, and just as I am, as we wait for the last person to come. That's not what this is. If you come, you come. If you don't, you don't. But if you stay in your pew, just be in quiet prayer for those who come forward. May this be a time when God can do wondrous things and bring healing and comfort in the lives of men. If you'd like to do